Good afternoon and welcome to the Badger Report. I'm Will Keneally.
And I'm Tahlil Muhiddin. In the Capitol, on campus, and all over Madison, it's been busy, and this week's Badger Report has the latest. A special session will be held in the Wisconsin Capitol today dealing with gun control laws. We'll let you know what that means for the state and the people in it.
A new service on campus that uses robots is launched, surprising the campus community. Find out how these robots could show up at your door with your dinner.
For the first time since 1994, the Badger women's soccer team won the outright Big Ten Conference title. We'll look into their impressive 2019 season. All this and more on the Badger Report.
From Vilas Hall on the UW-Madison campus, this is the Badger Report.
Gun rights is a polarizing issue. As the 2020 election approaches, with campaigns in full swing, discussions about guns are at the forefront of debates and policies.
The Badger Report's Sasha Van Allen joins us in studio to talk about how this national issue is impacting Wisconsin.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Tahlil. On October 21st, Governor Tony Evers called a special session to discuss gun control laws. This comes in the wake of shootings all over the country. I looked into this topic.
Governor Tony Evers is calling a special session of the legislature to discuss gun control measures that Republican leaders have so far been unwilling to debate. Gun owners like Kevin Kwame says this move is unnecessary.
All this legislation is much ado about nothing. We've got lots of laws, lots of regulations already in place. Most of these things are redundant.
The proposed measure will require universal background checks for all firearms and will allow people to report those who may be in danger to themselves or others. Under this measure, if the judge deems appropriate, they may have their guns taken away. Democratic Representative Kaylin Haywood says while there may be similar laws already in place, it is important to make improvements to laws after real-world testing.
So that's what this is. We're beefing up the old laws, making sure that we're making it harder for that bad guy or bad person to get a weapon in America or instead of Wisconsin.
According to Marquette lawsuit polls, over 80% of people support these measures. However, former police officer and current gun shop owner Scott Wyden says if that is the case, these measures should be put to a vote.
Right, we can't just take the word of somebody that says that that's how it is.
The special session doesn't mean Republicans will be forced to vote or even debate the bills, but it does mean they are required to convene. For the Badger Report, I'm Sasha Van Allen.
Thanks, Sasha. So is there anything new that you can tell us?
Yes, Will. A special session will begin later today, and updates for what happened at that session will be released soon.
Thanks, Sasha. For the first time in 3 decades, a state cabinet member has been voted out of their position. Agricultural Secretary Brad Pfaff is now out of a job, following a 14-19 vote on Tuesday. Republicans didn't agree with Pfaff's and Evers' policies, specifically the Secretary's criticism of the legislator's budget committee. What's next for Pfaff is uncertain, but lame duck laws prevent Evers from renominating him to the same agricultural position.
UW-Madison undergraduate students are earning their degrees faster than ever. Last year's time to degree was 3.96 years. That's down from 4.01 years for the 2017-2018 graduates. The UW says motivated students, faculty, and staff have helped get this time down. They add that improved student services like enhanced advising and new online tools have contributed to the decrease. Madison Bikes held a winter fashion show on Saturday. The organization wants more people to bike during the winter, but bike paths need to be clear of snow and ice. Saturday's event showcased a number of bikes used for winter riding, while also working to raise awareness for the need of clear paths. The mission could receive funding in next year's city budget, which is up for approval later this month. The Madison Bikes event is just one example of the ways in which the city of Madison is working to be bike-friendly. Another example, the emergence of e-bikes.
They're all over campus. E-bikes have a variety of impacts and effects other than being fun to ride. The Badger Report's Caitlin Rowe has more.
Electric bicycles are bringing a new spin to the typical morning rush and are having some positive impacts on the environment. The bikes made their way into Madison earlier this summer and have become increasingly popular among students and young professionals ever since. Madison was the first in the nation to fully switch all public bike racks to being e-bikes.
Machinery Row Bicycles was one of the first companies in the city to pioneer this change.
Owner Roger Charlie says this is an important innovation in Madison's biking scene.
Anybody who rides one realizes how beneficial they are, and it always comes back with a smile on their face. So it's just that kind of thing. It's going to grow.
UW-Madison student Robin Y. is among those in the city who use the bikes every day and say the convenience and fun they offer is what has them coming back every time.
You're never too far away from like a B-cycle station, so I think it's a good way just to, like, if you don't have a bike, it's a really fast way to get between places.
Beyond convenience, she says the bikes allow students to explore beyond the university.
You can just get on a bike and like bike to an off-campus like coffee shop or the mall, so it's been a really cool way to like explore outside of UW-Madison.
On average, the use of an e-bike over a car every day will cut down someone's emissions by 0.21 metric tons of CO2 per year, according to the Transportation Research and Education Center. With over 40 bicycle stations, Madison's e-bikes are on track to becoming the most used throughout the country. For the Badger Report, I'm Caitlin Rowe.
Thanks, Caitlin. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Educational Achievement held the 2019 Diversity Forum. While UW has a number of efforts in place to promote diversity efforts, student orgs, the Multicultural Student Center, and administrative position, the forum works to inspire more. Patrick J. Sims, the Deputy Vice Chancellor for Diversity and Inclusion, has things that he hopes people leave from the forum thinking about.
Right, so how, as a single individual, can I leverage my sphere of influence to bring about change? And change that genuinely supports all of our community members and creates a space where everyone feels valued, welcomed, and included. If people are really chewing on that and thinking about this, then that's a good thing, and arguably then that leads to action that people can take. And so I kind of circle back to our original intention. We updated it.
The Diversity Forum tackled topics like white supremacy, LGBTQ+ identities, generational stereotypes, and more. The forum is a 2-day annual event, and Sim says he's already started planning for the next one. The little robots driving around Bascom Hill have a purpose, and no, it's not just getting you in the way while you're going to class.
Up next, we'll show you what the new campus technology is for and how you can use it. Later, tabletop gaming has not lost its appeal, and Gamehole Con proves it.
See why certain games still have thousands of fans when we come back.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
This right here is the closet we were in. That was the only thing left of the house. The only thing. Red Cross helped us, and they literally got us back on our feet. Huge outpouring of love, just going, people care.
We didn't come out of there saying, wow, we lost everything. We came out of there hugging each other, glad that we were okay.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
You only know in a fire to get out, to escape, and now, okay, you're outside and you're safe. What do you do now? And that's where the Red Cross came in. We ran out of the house just wearing our pajamas. And at that point, just to even have a toothbrush that I could call my own was so important. You know, it just makes you feel like a person again.
robots have been rolling all about campus, sparking curiosity among students.
So what exactly is their purpose? The Badger Report's Lexi Schweinert has the story.
They've been causing a frenzy on campus. Small automated robots whirring about while students gawk curiously at them on their way to class. What is their purpose? Are we being invaded by a high-tech planet?
Saw them gathering around DeJope. I was like, are they for food delivery? I really wasn't sure what they were for.
The robots are actually delivering food on campus. UW-Madison Dining Services partnered with Starship Technologies to bring 30 robots to campus.
Delivery is a service that students have been requesting for quite some time. With companies like Grubhub and Eat Streets that have been around for quite some time, it's a service that students come to us expecting.
Students can order from 3 choices on the Starship Technologies app: Carson's Market, Four Lakes Market, or Liz's Market, and just pay an extra $1.99 for delivery. They can track the robot on the app throughout the entire process.
The robot would drive to the area where it should pick up the food, then a picker will come outside, open the robot, place the food inside the robot, close the lid, and then the robot starts rolling.
The robots currently deliver to the lakeshore side of campus, but the company plans to expand that in the future. Some may think this high-tech service could take jobs away from students when it actually does the opposite.
The full-time staff we have to do more meaningful work.
And as we know, it snows a lot in Wisconsin. The robots are rain and snowproof. You can see them rolling around campus throughout the winter. For the Badger Report, I'm Lexi Schweinert.
Thanks, Lexi. So, do you think you'll ever end up ordering anything from those?
I'll probably try it out at some point. Dane County Regional Airport announced Tuesday they will start offering nonstop flights to 5 popular vacation cities in 2020. The flights will be through Sun Country Airlines and are to Boston, Nashville, New York, Portland, and Seattle. All flights but the Portland one are set to begin in May, while the Portland flight will begin in June.
University Recreation and Well-Being recently announced that they will be opening the new fitness center called the Nicholas Recreation Center, or the NIC, late. That's due to challenges with the weather and construction, specifically floods in 2018 and low temperatures in 2019. The NIC's original opening was set for January, but will now be in late 2020. The Wisconsin Partnership Program at the UW School of Medicine and Public Health will award more than $2.4 million to a number of community organizations. The grants will be distributed in $400,000 increments over the next 4 years and will work to address health inequities. Tabletop gaming continues to bring old, young, veteran, and rookie players together, even with the ever-growing popularity of video games.
Madison hosted one of the Midwest top gaming conventions this past weekend, and the Badger Report's Mackenzie Chrisman has more about what has kept the hobby thriving for so many years.
Gaming enthusiasts from around the country gathered in Madison this weekend for the annual Game Hole Convention. Convention attendees embraced their interests by playing, teaching, and learning about a variety of tabletop and role-playing games.
Now, I've been playing war games of various sorts since the mid-60s. I've been at this for a long time.
For many attending the Game Hole Convention, the games they choose to play are more than that. They're a way of life. Recently, the industry has experienced an uptake in popularity.
Tabletop and role-playing games make up only a fraction of the gaming industry as a whole, but a loyal fan base and new pop culture influences are keeping it strong.
So fantasy stuff, playing science fiction with robots, that's fairly popular. It's fueled by things like Game of Thrones.
As the industry becomes more widely known, many gamers feel freer to indulge their creative outlet.
Some of the conventions are starting to get bigger. I think a lot more people are feeling freer to let their nerd out and do some of the things that they want to do versus what they have to do.
It is thanks to conventions like Game Hole Con that people can take their interest in gaming beyond the board. For the Badger Report, I'm Mackenzie Chrisman.
Thanks, Mackenzie. If you're going to the Badger football game, running the Madison Marathon, or spending your Saturday at the farmer's market, you'll want to stick around.
The Badger Report has this weekend's weather coming up next.
A pulse, felt by one, sends a ripple, felt by some. A shiver, felt by many. until it amplifies, magnifies into a tremor that electrifies. Badgers everywhere, moving as one, tilting the world on its axis.
I thought Red Cross does Katrina. They don't help single moms.
What happened to our house last year about your birthday?
And the water flooded out. Yeah.
The Red Cross arranged the hotel for us. They gave me that break, that leverage to be able to get it together and take care of them, you know? I feel like we've come full circle.
This is how I'll do it.
There you go.
In 1905, we made a promise. We promised that our work at Wisconsin would make life better for our state. Our research has developed crops, restored lakes, cured diseases, uncovered history, peered into space, and saved lives. More than a century later, we've not only kept our promise to Wisconsin, we've extended it to the world. On Wisconsin.
I thought I'd start the video by showing you the apartment building where the fire was. When things like this happen, I think you find a new perspective on life. Red Cross put us in a hotel, so we were able to stay together. We're strong, and if we overcame that, or if we can overcome that, we can overcome anything. So.
Madison Water and Utility has several tips to keep the pipes from bursting this winter. They say to make sure there is heat throughout the entire house or apartment, even if the room is typically not used. They add that people should leave the thermostat at 55 degrees to make sure the water in the pipes does not freeze. Opening cabinets on the outside walls will also help heat circulate to any pipes that are in the house outside the walls.
The weather has been back and forth lately. I can't seem to decide whether we're still in fall or moving straight to winter.
To help us figure that out, the Badger Report's Mackenzie Chrisman has weather updates.
Thanks, Talia and Will. It seems like our cold weather streak is here to stay, with a high chance of a wintry mix of snow and rain coming later this evening. Today's chilly forecast brings us a high of 43 degrees and a low of 24. Friday will be a bit colder still, with a high of 35 and a low of 25 degrees, but luckily the sun will be shining. It seems like we'll have a cloudy game day as we take on the Hawkeyes, with a high of 41 degrees and a low of 34 degrees on Saturday. The clouds will carry over into Sunday, and we might even see some snow later at night. Sunday's high is 46 degrees with a low of 32. Bundle up this weekend. That's a glimpse of the weather to come. Back to you.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Up next, the women's soccer team has found a lot of success in the past year.
We'll hear from players about their experiences and get more sports updates after the break.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
I thought Red Cross does Katrina. They don't help single moms.
What happened to our house last year about your birthday?
And the water flooded out. Yeah.
The Red Cross arranged the hotel for us. They gave me that break, that leverage to be able to get it together and take care of them, you know? I feel like we've come full circle.
This is how I'll do it.
There you go.
At the turn of the last century, we made a promise to our state. We promised that we would not rest until we made life better for Wisconsin. We looked in our own backyard and we planted different crops, bred new herds, identified vitamins, improved harvesting machinery, established food safety standards, and churned a lot of ice cream. We haven't stopped working to make life better for our state and the world. On Wisconsin.
UWO Sports have had a busy week.
To get us caught up on all the wins and losses, the Badger Report's Alyssa Hui joins us on set.
Thanks to Hill and Will. There's been a lot happening in Badger sports, and we'll cover all the scores and updates for your favorite teams. But first, we'll go in depth with the Badger women's soccer and their exceptional season. The Badger Report's Lucas Lateral has the story.
Wisconsin women's soccer has had a historical season, winning the outright Big Ten championship for the first time since 1994. Team captain Peyton Wesley says that's not just because of how they play on the field.
What makes our team chemistry so strong is just the love that we have for each other, not only on the field but off the field.
But team chemistry isn't the only reason the Badgers have found success. Head coach Paula Wilkins credits the team's defensive play for helping them win games.
I know it's such a coach cliche, but just the defensive presence and being able to defend together as a group. You always say that defense wins championships, and I think this year that proved true. We only gave up 4 goals in the Big Ten.
Despite being eliminated in the first round of the Big Ten tournament for the second straight year, goalkeeper Jordan Bloomer says the team is still ready for the upcoming NCAA tournament.
We get a little bit of extra time to rest up now, as we've kind of had a really long last half of the season. It's been a lot on our bodies, so I think a lot of our advantage is going to come from being able to rest and just refocus on ourselves and then get ready to take on another NCAA tournament run.
The NCAA tournament bracket will be released on Monday. If selected, the Badgers will play in the first round of the national tournament that starts November 15th. For the Badger Report, I'm Lucas Lateral.
Thanks, Lucas. There's more good news for Badger soccer fans this week. Last Sunday, men's soccer scored their first Big Ten win after they defeated Ohio State 1-0 in Columbus. The Badgers' Zach Klansnick scored the game's lone goal in the 52nd minute. The win breaks a long losing streak for the team and has a bittersweet ending to a tough season. The Badgers finished the regular season just 3-10-4 after going 10-6-2 last season. The team will travel to play Penn State on Sunday for the first round of the Big Ten tournament. This past weekend was a tough one for hockey fans, as both men's and women's hockey were unable to win a game in their matchups. Women's hockey played Minnesota in Minneapolis, where they lost one game on Saturday and tied another on Sunday. The Badgers lost 2-4 on Saturday, and despite goals from Dara Greig and Britta Curl on Sunday, were unable to beat the Gophers after 3 periods. After regulation was over, Gopher forward Amy Potomac scored 1 goal to give the Gophers the shootout victory. The Badgers dropped to number 2 in the nation after this weekend, but to keep their successful season rolling when they host Minnesota State for their next 2 games, the first of which starts just 2 p.m. on Saturday. Badger men's hockey also struggled this past weekend, losing both of their games against Penn State. The Nittany Lions dominated Thursday's game, defeating the Badgers 6-1. On Friday, Wisconsin took an early lead off of a goal from Jack Gorniak in the first period, and the game remained close with both teams tied at 2 heading into third period. However, Penn State scored 2 goals in the third, and the Badgers were unable to answer, losing 4-2. The team is now 4-4-0 on the season. The losses caused the Badgers to drop from 7th to 12th in the national rankings, but they'll aim to battle back when they travel to Nebraska to play Omaha in 2 games this weekend. Their first game starts tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Badger fans looking for happier news in sports need look no further than the Badger volleyball team, who defeated Indiana on Sunday in Bloomington. The Badgers beat the Hoosiers in 3 straight sets, led by senior Madison Duello's 11 kills. The win puts the Badgers at 12-0 in the Big Ten, which is a record program for best start to a season in the conference. The Badgers are 16-4 on the season and are currently ranked 4th in the nation. The team will travel to Columbus to face Ohio State tomorrow, with the goal of staying undefeated in the Big Ten. That game starts at 6 o'clock. Men's basketball kicked off their season on Tuesday night. They played 20th-ranked St. Mary's in a close game last night. Despite falling well behind early in the game, the Badgers battled back and sent the game to overtime, tied at 54. While the Badgers held the overtime lead with just over a minute left to play, they were unable to stop St. Mary's from pulling off a 65-63 win. The team will look to get their first win when they play Eastern Illinois tomorrow night at the Kohl Center. Badger football fans are getting excited for this weekend as the Badgers prepare to host the 18th-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes this weekend at Camp Randall Stadium. The Badgers haven't hosted a game in nearly a month and are currently on a 2-game losing streak, but the team is undefeated at home and will look to defeat Iowa and keep that streak going. There will certainly be a lot of fans at Camp Randall cheering them on to do that, and that'll be an exciting weekend.
Thanks, Alyssa. After the break, Alyssa will show us how a local art exhibit has a deeper meaning.
Stick around to find out where and when that exhibit runs. Next on the Badger Report.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.
This right here is the closet we were in. That was the only thing left of the house. The only thing. Red Cross helped us, and they literally got us back on our feet. Huge outpouring of love just going, people care. We didn't come out of there saying, wow, we lost everything. We came out of there hugging each other, glad that we were okay.
More than a century ago, we made a commitment to our state. We promised to educate the sons and daughters of Wisconsin. More than 1 million students have passed through our doors. Our alumni have gone on to cure diseases, grow crops, build skyscrapers, found companies, score touchdowns, orbit the moon, and achieve beyond our wildest dreams, but not beyond theirs. On Wisconsin.
A new exhibit called Sharing Our Sacred Voice Through Art is now open at the Overture Center.
The Badger Report's Alyssa Hui shares how this exhibit celebrates Ho-Chunk people and their culture.
For many creators like Christopher Sweet,
That's Warrior Clan.
their art goes beyond just a picture on the wall.
It just really means something, you know. I have a connection with this.
A connection that honors the history and the ways of Ho-Chunk people.
A lot of my paintings have to do with like healing and unity and family.
The 3 things that Sweet says help showcase the beauty and perseverance of Native Americans.
Those at the event see this as an opportunity to share their culture with others while also celebrating the current work of Ho-Chunk people.
So I'm always a part of including the greater community in what we do and sharing such a beautiful part of ourselves with the community. It's just a wonderful feeling.
Terry says it's important to foster Ho-Chunk artwork and heritage in the Madison area.
So this is our ancestral land, and I like to believe that, you know, whatever brought us to today is in the past, but how we build our communities together without discriminatory lines is what is going to define our future and our longevity here.
If you want to learn more about Ho-Chunk art and culture, you can visit the exhibit at the Overture Center until January 5th of 2020. For the Badger Report, I'm Alyssa Hui.
Thanks, Alyssa. The Ho-Chunk art exhibit is just one way the campus and city are celebrating Native American Heritage Month. Other events include a traditional feast, a beading workshop, and a documentary screening. For more information and events, check the Badger Report website at badgerreport.journalism.wis.edu.
And that's all for this episode of the Badger Report. Excited for the Badger game this weekend?
Absolutely. It'll be nice to have all the exciting energy back on campus.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for a win. Be sure to tune in next week. We'll have another episode of the Badger Report right for you.